Everyone, can everyone hear me again? Yes, fantastic. Right. Not sure what happened. I was just mid-speech. One of those things, guys. So we'll just not worry about it. Hi, everyone, and thank you, everyone who was really worried that I'd just been hit by a drone or something had happened. Don't worry, I'm safe. I'm all good. But yeah, not a clue. It's one of those things. Yeah, so what I'll try and do is I'll try and just race through this. The numbers are really joining quickly now. So I think there was about 100 people left in the old one. All of the information, all of the questions will be stored. So just get your questions in, guys. I really would recommend that. I'm going to start in a second or so. But yeah, thanks for bearing with us. But yeah, interesting one. Okay, and if anyone does have to leave, like Neil, you will get a recording sent over as well. So don't worry if you miss a little bit or you have to leave early. Even the Q&A at the end, it'll all get sent over. Yes, so cheers, Pat Darren. I've put another 50p in the meter. We're all good. We go again. So yeah, we've been through this, and here I am. So yeah, this is me. I've been working with Copters for 18 months now. Did my PSCO last year, and I've been helping hundreds of people like yourself get into this industry, which is really new. And here we go. So I did cover this quickly. So you've got industry specifics, drone training, actual hardware with our business starts packages as well, finding the work, the new regulations, and then we'll have the Q&A. I can see people are still coming in, guys, so don't worry. We'll soon get through it all. At least it was just the introduction anyway. Okay, so in terms of the actual market itself, we're in the early adopter stage. With the current situation of the world, it has kind of been put on pause. Us at Copters, we have felt huge amounts of industries come and inquire with drones. How can they basically make it safer with what they do? So we talk a lot about saving time, saving money with drones, and that is an angle that you can use. Whereas the whole safety aspect is a huge part of what drones do. So can you put a drone in somewhere instead of a person and make it safer for them? So off the back of COVID and not wanting to put people at risk, we've had a huge influx of inquiries to do with inspection and just that whole safety aspect for people. So definitely want to take note of. As you can see, we've just passed the chasm of doom, some people refer it to, but it's still very early doors. Not that many people have seen a drone fly, even less so have seen a drone fly commercially. So we know we're in a very early stages of this industry. Get in now, and in a few years' time, 5 years, 10 years down the line, you're going to be the most experienced people in this industry. A lot of what you'll be doing is commercial teaching. So teaching people how drones can save them time, can save them money, and make it safer in what they do day to day. And that's what we're here to do. As mentioned, guys, get your questions down. Anyone who's joining new, thanks for joining me again. Going to race through this, but I won't miss out any of the topics. Okay, so a quick poll, everyone. There's 4 questions there. There is an actual poll section next to the questions. If you just click on that and quickly answer all of those, that will give me a really nice idea of whereabouts you guys are at. And if I don't get round to answering your questions, it means I've got a really good idea of what sort of stage of this journey you're in. So do you have a drone? Are you looking at a drone? These sort of things, it's really going to help me. If you're not too sure, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. So yeah, don't be fine. Mike, that's amazing. Thanks for cancelling your one-to-one with your boss. Really appreciate that. So yeah, if you can't see it, guys, just make sure you get onto the polls and answer that. I've got quite a few of you answering them now, which is amazing. And the when do you want to start question, that's a really topical one at the moment. Hopefully I can clear a lot of this up for you as well when we get going. But yeah, like I say, the more of you that answer these questions, it's going to make me understand whereabouts everyone is. But yeah, the polls are just next to where it says questions. Underneath where I'm talking, you've got questions, polls, and offers. And for anyone else who's joining us at the moment, really sorry. Just one of those things. I wish I was even playing with something. I wish I was. I wish I'd clicked something so I knew what I did, but I'm not too sure. But yeah, if you just scroll down, you'll be able to see the questions. And if you just go to the right-hand side of the questions, there's polls, and just give that a quick click. Cheers for that, Mike. That's great. Yeah. But yeah, what I did like though is that everyone was kind of worrying where I was, which is quite nice. Okay. And if you haven't filled out the poll, you can soon come back to it anyway, guys. So that's awesome. Thank you for doing that. Okay. So let's have a look at this. So frequently asked questions that I get asked all the time on the phones. Do I have the right experience? So in this industry, because it is new, you don't need any. If you do have any expertise or skills you can pull on, of course, use them, take full advantage of them. At the end of the day, we're building a business. In terms of drones, they're so easy to fly. So it's just about getting the hours in. As with any musical instrument, any sport, any hobby, the more you do, the better you become. So in terms of getting your drone, getting your experience, we can do all of that when it comes to it. That's just down to putting energy and time into your new drone. So in terms of experience, it's an interesting industry where you don't have to have a background in something. And as I say, if you do, fantastic, we can play on that. But you don't actually need any experience to get going. Do I have the right kit? I get asked this a lot. I really do. And a lot of people don't have the right kit for what they want to do. They just see what's new, what's shiny, and go from there. So it really depends on what sector you're looking into, what budget you have to play with, because not everyone has a lot of money they can invest straight away. In terms of starting this business and getting it up and running, it is actually a very cheap way of starting a business. So you don't have to buy a lot of hardware. You don't have to buy infrastructure. This is just about your drone, yourself, maybe a few polos to get going, and off you go. So the actual outlays aren't very big. So it's just putting the money into the right areas. Again, I'll go into this in more detail. When are the courses? At the moment, they're as soon as you're ready. So this is one of the questions I've asked. When are you ready to start? If you want to start now, there will be an offer that pops up during this webinar where you can book online and you can start in about an hour's time. With the course being online now, you can do it within your own time. So there are modules for you to work through, and they go hand in hand with webinars. So you have quizzes, you have webinars, you have videos, modules for you to work through. So there's all the value of doing the course face-to-face. We still have that of online. It just means that whether you're furloughed, working from home, or you just have all the time in the world, you can do this. You might have kids running around all the time, but as soon as they go to bed, this means you can do it on a night. So it really is a versatile platform for you to get all the value, all the knowledge for you to become a master in this industry. We've had some amazing feedback so far from students that are actually on. But in terms of the actual platform itself, it is awesome. So like I said, as soon as you get booked on, we program it. We set yourself up a link and a password, and then off you go. You can get onto it and start the courses. In terms of getting started, it's very similar for all of our CPD courses. So we started with our PFCO. We've now got the Off-Qual Level 5. And then we have our other CPD courses that we're now starting to have online as well. As you can see, that offers now come on for the PFCO. For anyone who does book on, we are doing a mentoring session with Steve. So just to let you know, that's in there. But yeah, in terms of the course, whenever you want, it really is that versatile. So it's completely down to you. So what do the new regulations even mean? So people go on about this all the time. It is confusing. I do have a section for this at the end. So it is confusing. There are some really bad rumors about it, but essentially, it's all going to be fine. Don't worry. It's not as negative as what everyone thinks. And cheers for that, Jeff. That's spot on. That's great feedback. And can everyone hear me all right? Still, yeah, we're all good. No technical issues so far. Good. That's it. And the course, there's loads of different modules, and it's great for everyone, no matter how you learn. I typically really like getting my questions out. So that's why we have the live webinars there. So it just means you've got a live response. So no matter how you learn, it's going to be good for you. And then when should I start? It's a big one, but the sooner you start, the better. Don't let it be one of those things that, I'll start in next year. I'll start in a few months. Why not start now? We're in a really weird crisis at the moment. We're in a really strange place. Take advantage of that, see the opportunity in it, and start doing it now. There's loads of reasons for and against, but the for is so much greater. We have so much time on our hands now. Start training, better yourself, take that leap. I can see you're all interested because you're on this webinar. But yeah, I'll go into more detail on this soon as well. Okay, so the actual Copters training, when it's face-to-face, it's 2.5 to 3 days. You have a theory exam, you've got your operations manual, and then you have your practical exam. So it's these 3 components that we train you guys up to apply to the CAA. So the CAA are the governing body of the sky. So they're like the FIFA to football, for example. We give you sign off and say that these guys are competent to fly, they're safe to do it, and then you make the application to the CAA. So if you do struggle with an operations manual, that's fine. We'll help you out with a template with examples in, and then you just update that. We'll see what changes you need to make. You make those amendments, send it back to us, and we repeat that process. So with it now being online because of COVID, you have 8 modules to work through online, as I say. With webinars, you've got the modules, the videos, the quizzes after every section. And you can do these in any order. It's completely down to you. Then you have the operations manual workshop for you to go through. You then have 3 modules in terms of practical. So safe setup, best practice, flight planning. So and again, you go through that once you've passed the theory exam, and there's a mock exam as well. So you get a really good idea of what you're going to go through. And then once you've gone through all of these modules, you then go through to a portal which books you in for your practical assessment. So yeah, you're absolutely right. There's a couple of chats going on. Basically, there's no time limit. There's absolutely no limit. If there is, it would be with the new regulation changes in basically 2021 now. So there's no rush, absolutely no rush. So if you're one of these people that likes to really digest all of this information and go back through it, that's fine. If you're someone who likes to cram, do the exam, get it all out of the way, that's absolutely fine. It's whatever works best for you. And that's why we're getting such good feedback on our training. So the practical exam is you get an hour to an hour and a half slot. You turn up at one of our 11 locations. You put into practice your best practice, your safe setup, and then you do flying. So it's very, very much like your driving practical. So you have minors and majors. For example, a crash is a major. A minor is just something minuscule. So for example, when I did my flight assessment in Leeds, a sheep wandered into my landing zone because I was on a field, which was really obvious because it was a massive, huge sheep. But what I should have done is alert the instructor, alert everyone who was there and say, look, there's a sheep in my landing area. If something goes wrong, I'm going to take it to the left and bring it down in a safe area. But I didn't, because I thought it was really obvious. And so I got a minor for that. So we need to see that you're in control of what it is you're doing. So we're not doing loop-the-loops. We're not doing drone racing. This industry is all about control. So the flight assessment is seeing that you're safe to fly and in control of what you're doing. And to be fair, the hardest bit is more the flight planning. And we have a module for that anyway online, so don't worry. Okay, so what is a business starter package? So business starter packages are essentially training with a drone, and then there might be other CPD, other value in there. They're constantly changing for you to get the best out of starting a business, really. So we have helped hundreds of people get into the industry, and so we are constantly molding, as you should be as a business person, this model. So this is always what's going to be best for you. We can strip these down, we can build these up, and with conversations with myself and some of the BDMs or other UAV strategists, we'll mold basically the best bundle for you. So it can vary depending on one budget, whereabouts you are, what industry you're going into. And again, it's not about just spending money for the sake of it on the biggest, baddest drone. It's about what's right for you and your industry. Okay, so again, finding my sector is a really, really big thing. And this is, again, why I asked this in the poll. It's good to see what you're considering going into. As you can see here, this study, I think it was from 2019, actually. As you can see, surveying is massive. And a lot of the guys I do speak to are interested in surveying / inspection. And as you can see, it is the largest industry. In America, agriculture is a lot higher. Film and media, film and photography, that's where it started. And a lot of people have shown interest in that, and it's a given because it's such a visual industry. So they do go hand in hand. Transport is 5%, but obviously we've all heard the rumors of people like Amazon delivering. We do got a few inquiries with the current COVID situation. I don't know if you've all heard about the vaccines that have been sent over to either the Isle of Man or Isle of Wight. Amrit, yes, the slides will all be sent out. So if you've signed up to this, you will get the slides. So if any of you do have to run, don't worry, it'll all get sent over. So yeah, and if any of you guys did join a little bit late, if you could fill out the poll, that would be absolutely amazing. Any questions, get them in. That would be fantastic. It just means if anything does go wrong again, I've got a copy of everyone's questions. So yeah, knowing what sector is really, really good for me. Well, it's fantastic for yourself. It means you've got a little bit of clarity. And if you don't know what industry you're going into, there are drones that can do a little bit of everything. So you can be a bit of a yes man just while you get yourself going. And by doing this, you'll see what you like, see what you don't like. And I'll show you a few drones like that in a little bit. Okay. So hardware. Going off the back of that, you've got a few different industries where you have drones that really stand out as the best option. Surveying, we've just come off the back of a DJI webinar because of the new M300 that was released. And they're still saying that the Phantom 4 RTK is the best option for surveying. So you're going to get really, really good precision with this drone at a very affordable price as well. There are different elements that you can add to this as well to make that precision even greater. So if you are looking at surveying and you've got the budget for it, the Phantom 4 is where you want to be looking. In terms of inspection, there are massive different areas that you want to be looking at. If it's external, you might be doing industrial warehouses, things like that. Mavic 2 Enterprise is fantastic because you have a really large storage, and you've got the thermal and the RGB sensors. So you can use these either separately or together. And by having them together, you basically add a layer of texture and loads of negative lines, so it gives you a really, really nice image for when you are doing those inspections. If you do an internal inspection, the Elios 2 is the one. It is an absolute game changer. For more information on that, definitely get in touch with us. My colleague George is fantastic. He's a product champion on the Elios 2. So yeah, definitely recommend that if you're interested. In terms of agriculture, so I mentioned that America is really, really big on this at the moment, and we're starting to see a lot more people show interest in it. The opportunities in there the customers are very, very similar to surveyors. Actually, once you get them with one, you get them with 10. So if you see an opportunity, take advantage. The Phantom 4 multispectral is the best option there. So it came out, and I think it was January this year, possibly December. Very, very new drone, not many in the UK. So, and that's another opportunity. If not many people in the UK have got it, you're going to be able to provide a really good service that you're not going to have a lot of competition for. So thinking about these different business options, it's good to consider. So if you are looking at cinematography or media, the Inspire 2 is where you want to be looking. It's industry leading, fantastic drone, and it looks fantastic. It is an absolute gorgeous model. And when the propellers and the arms do pop down, it just looks stunning. If you watch any David Attenborough programs, this is what they use. So normally the programs are about 45 minutes long. At the end, you'll normally see them take off with an Inspire. If you're anything like me, I point it out all the time. I'm like, that's a drone footage. That's a drone footage. Girlfriend doesn't like it at all, but it's one of those things you won't be able to stop seeing it now. So these are just options. There's loads of others that you can see that we can walk you through as well. So it really does depend on what industry you're looking at, what budget you have, and what you like flying as well. If you don't like the look of a drone, that's absolutely fine. And it's all about getting what's right for you at the end of the day. You need to be enjoying what you're doing. Okay. So going on to CPD. So once you've done your PFCO, we really do recommend that you go on to get specialist training. So a lot of this is face-to-face courses, but we are trying to get them all online as well. So we did have a thermography course, but we're just updating it just so it's a little bit better for everyone, just so we can maintain that really high standard of training that we deliver. So our PFCO course is OFQA level 4 accredited. So that already is coming in with the online training that we do. Our courses are harder than others, but we're proud of that. When you're in the industry, you're going to be representing us at Copters. So we need to know that we've trained you to this really high standard. After that, we want you to come back and do more training with us, specialize, become a master in your industry. If you're considering going into inspection or surveying, the Pix4D 3D mapping is going to be a really, really valuable course for you. Understanding the wording that surveyors use and some of the terms that they'll be used to using, being able to understand data capture and transferring that to different softwares. A lot of the time you will be asked just to find just the actual data. So you'll have a brief, you go out, get the data, come back down. But some people might want you to do a little bit of changing, chopping, cutting, editing to the actual data that you find, to the pictures, to the footage, and they might want you to make a 3D image. So that there's always an option going out there. So a very, very new course is the Drone Filming and Imagery Masterclass. So this is now the UAV Masterclass. So this is with Johnny Sharp. He is one of our trainers. Generally, he works in the industry as in marketing and videography. So he actually has an Inspire. Well, he has a lot of drones actually. And this is an online course. So it's 2 3-hour slots. So the first slot is for free. So if you are interested in that, and it's all to do with understanding what lens to use, understanding Why are you using that lens? When you're flying, well, how are you flying? Are you getting a nice tracking shot? Are you getting a nice arc on what you're doing? Are you tracking that vehicle? And it's just questioning all these things instead of, it's like getting a really fancy SLR camera and just using it on auto. That camera can do so many more things, but you're just using it on auto. It's like the Mavic 2 Pro. It has a fantastic camera, but are you using it to its full potential? And this course is all about that. So the first 3 hours is for free, like I say, and then the second part of the course is £125 excluding VAT. Next, we have the thermography course. So if you're getting a drone with thermal capabilities, a thermal sensor, you need to be on this course. Understanding the different settings. You can see from the fireman there, you can't see that person. If you go close to the screen, you'll be able to see. In the normal color image, you can't see the person in the smoke, but that drone can. And that's because of the setting it's using. In some of the settings, it won't be able to use it. There's so many different color palettes that the drone will choose from. You need to make sure you know which color palette to use in which setting. For example, if it's a really hot day and you're doing a search and rescue job, all the vegetation is going to be really hot around that human being. So there's not going to be a lot of contrast. So you need to let the drone know what it's looking for. And the thermography course is all about that. And yeah, there's a lot of questions around thermography, and clearing that up will give you a way better advantage when you're in the industry. And for more, any other questions on these, guys, do let me know. Get them in the questions box. In terms of the Off-Qual Level 4, this is part of the PFCO course that we do. So this is actually written into the syllabus that we teach on the 3 components I spoke about. So the theory, operations manual, and the practical. You can't get this anywhere else. It's just with ourselves. As I mentioned, it makes our course harder, but we're proud of that. It just means that you're trained to a higher standard. Level 4 is seen across the board. So for any of you guys who have been to university or done a HNC or a HND, that is taught at level 4 standard. So it's internationally recognized. Level 5 is a step above. So like the second year of university, that standard of teaching is level 5. So the Off-Qual Level 5 Chief Pilots course, this has varied. We've had some really nice feedback, really good feedback from some of the guys who sat the course before, and it has changed. We've adapted it, and again, it's miles better now. So we are doing this online as well. I think we have 4 of the modules that are now live. If you wanted to do this online, face to face, you generally have 4 of our drone trainers on hand to help you. When you're online, you'll have the modules, so you get that interaction anyway. When you do it face to face, it's £2,000 excluding VAT. So you can see it's an expensive course, but the amount that you get from it is huge. So things like insurance premiums, that's going to bring it way down. If you are part of a drone company, this is really good for basically management. So are you going through best practice with your drones? Are you looking after them? Are you looking after the batteries? In terms of the actual pilots, are they looking after them properly? So it's all about management as well nowadays. Operational safety cases are a massive one as well. And going into the new regs and for the new year, the level 5 course is going to be big for that. If you do the course online, it's just $999. Actually, I think there's an offer on at the moment, so it's $799. But yeah, in terms of our CPD training, we do really think we need to go ahead with these. So the PFCO course is all you need on paper. But by getting good training, you're going to leapfrog a lot of people and make yourself stand out. You might then go into the industry, do a lot of training, and then come back and then do some more training. So not everyone's route is the same. So we need to decide which one's going to be best for you. And these different training methods are all going to help. Okay. What time are we on? Okay, so we're doing pretty good. So at the moment, these are our business starter packages. So you've got the advanced thermal business starter package. So this is with the Parrot and Afi Thermal, the one that I use. Then you have your advanced visual business starter package. So this is a Mavic 2 Pro smart controller and fly mode kit. And then finally you got the ultimate drone business starter package. So this is the Mavic 2 Enterprise Dual. Again, come with the smart controller and the fly mode kit. For anyone who mentions this webinar to me, who hasn't already, you're more than welcome to have a free CPD course. So that doesn't include the Off-Color Level 5. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, thermography, filming and imagery masterclass, Pix4D, whatever you think is going to be most beneficial to you, you can have it with any of these business starter packages. There's no rush with that. Like I say, if you have any questions on these, please drop me a message and we can go into a lot more detail on them later. For anyone who's maybe on the fence, this might be the thing for you. In terms of our CPD courses, they're generally around 400 to 600 pounds. So it is a huge saving. So yeah, there you go. Just as a little thank you for you all. So yeah, this is Ryan. Helped Ryan out. He came to one of our business seminars. So instead of a webinar, it was in person. It was about 16 months ago, I'd say. So Ryan had come fresh out of school, actually, and he just wanted the next thing. He's been considering. He had a bit of money to start, and he was up for taking a risk. And yes, we've got some really nice feedback from Ryan here. Okay, but yeah, and there's loads of people like Ryan. I know there's Jeff on the webinar here, who's an absolute top bloke. If anyone has any questions about the course or anything like that, we've got a really nice feedback across most social media platforms. So yeah, if you do have any questions, go have a look at some of our reviews for the courses. Our drone training team, for example, we've got Dan Wilson, head of training, absolutely swell guy. Jonathan Sharp, who I mentioned earlier. We've just hired Harry as well. All these new drone trainers, they're absolutely fantastic. So if you want any feedback or information about them, they actually work in the industry. So that's what makes our trainers so good. Okay, so my top tips. So this is more the business side of things, getting things going. And this is where I need you to be really serious with yourself. If you are looking to make that jump, at the end of the day, what we're doing is starting a business. As I said at the beginning, the drones, they do the hard work. So this is all about you putting in the graft, let's be honest. So tip number one, create an Instagram business page. So you need to be following everything drone related that you can think of, post at least once a day. This is a visual industry and your drone takes pictures, would you believe it? So get those images online. Let people know that you're there. Make noise. You need to be all over social media. Facebook and Instagram are linked. Get yourself a Facebook page. Get them linked together. So you need to let people know that you're there. I have a lot of people that do contact me and say, oh, I'm doing this, that, and the other, but I know they're not really trying. And at the end of the day, we're putting loads and loads of effort in, but you need to put that effort into the right channels. So is your website up to date? And have you got a website? You might have a website, but no one's going on it. So you need to create traffic. And that's why you link it to your Instagram, you link it to your Facebook, and you get people bouncing around. So by following all these people on Instagram, on Facebook, creating those connections, you need to, and that will get the traffic for you. So you can keep it simple when it comes down to a website. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Wix, WordPress, or Whitespace. I use WordPress when I'm making a website. I think it's really simple. You get a lot of different design options. So it does a lot of different options for you there. Mike, fantastic. Yeah, That's perfect. That's exactly what I want to see. I want you to see that you have these websites. I want you to see that you have Instagram. Are you tagging people in Instagram? Are you doing collaborations? This is what it's all about. You need to get noise and let people know that you're there. It's okay saying you're a drone pilot. Who knows about it? When I sat on the course and did the theory, end of 2018, possibly, yeah, end of 2018, I sat next to this bloke called Steve, and he posted on LinkedIn that he was going to be doing the PFCO with Copters. By the end of that course, because it was a 3-day course, 3 people had approached him to do jobs. The first one was an inspection company, and he had the Mavic 2 Zoom at the time. The second was a roofing company, and the third one was York Racecourse. I could not believe it, but all he did was just post, 1, I'm doing my PFCO, so people knew he was going to be using his drone, and 2, with Copters. We've got a really good name for ourselves, and people know that we train to a high standard. We're industry leaders in what we do, so let people know that you're doing it. Connect with as many people as you can in a day on LinkedIn. Just let people know that you're there. So yeah, tip number 2, even though they all say number 1, I've just realized. Tip number 2, let people know that you have a website and create noise. Tip number 3, or tip number 1-3, to quote Wolf of Wall Street, pick up the phone and start dialing. So to start with, set a target of 20 calls a day, minimum. Be honest with yourself. Are you doing this? Get the calls in. Have an idea, call people. Get a different idea, call people again. For example, I had a window salesman come to the door the other day, and I had an idea. Whilst he was trying to sell to me these new windows, which I do need, to be fair, I thought, you know what, if I had a thermal drone, I could do some images of my windows, and I could show myself how much heat I'm losing from my windows. And then I could show that to the customer. It's all about these different things. So I can then call up a load of window companies, get in touch with that, get in touch with them. So all these different ideas that you have, you need to be contacting people. You might not get through to anyone, but it's getting yourself out there, getting that routine, being honest with yourself. So there are so many different wins when you're calling people. And again, if you do need help with this, we can supply that mentorship. But you just need to create noise and contact. When you get those wins, it's going to feel amazing. So, and off the back of that first win, this doesn't have to be for money when you're getting going. This can be free of charge. It might just be for you to build experience. It might be for a case study, for a testimonial. As soon as someone quotes something fantastic about what you're doing, write it down, get it over social media, get it on your website, get quotes all over. People love feedback. If you've got a good review, shout about it. Let people know that you're a fantastic flyer. If you've got a specialty in one area and someone's picked up on it, get them to quote it, get it all written down. So to start with, it doesn't have to be for money. Generally, as a rule of thumb, you don't want to be leaving the house unless it's for £200 a job. But that's just to start with. We want you pushing way more than this when you get going. But yeah, massive one. I think a lot of people get fixated on needs to be massive money straight away. That's not always the case. We need to be realistic at the end of the day. Andy, fantastic. No problem. For anyone else who has to leave now, the rest of this will get sent to you as well. So don't worry. Just remember I was on slide 14. In terms of the final tip, get yourself out flying. So I mentioned it before. The more you do, the easier it's going to be. The more XP that you have, the more experience you have, the more comfortable you will be flying. So when you do your PFCO, your flight assessment, we expect you to do a minimum of 5 hours flying before you do the practical assessment. But that's a minimum. Do 10, do 20, get 50 hours in before you do your flight assessment, and you're going to be fine. We can always tell who's done the hours before they do the flight assessment because they're not nervous. And if they haven't done the flight hours, we can tell they're nervous because they haven't practiced. Get yourself out there. If it's football, if it's rugby, if it's cricket, the more you do, the better you become at it, and you'll become so much more comfortable in what you're doing in your job. If you're working let's say you're doing a warehouse inspection of an industrial warehouse. You don't want to be nervous when you're working around a building, around people. You want to back yourself to have really good experience flying. Flying is absolutely fine, and the drones do half the work for you. But the more you get out and practice, the better you'll become. Okay, so regulations, big one. Cool. Right, okay. So fly through this one. In terms of regulations, these are all the questions that I get. To race through them quickly. What do they mean to me getting into the industry? Not a lot at all. In terms of what the regulations mean, safety, weight category, and risk. So as soon as you start the PFCO, you'll find straight away that this is all about safety anyway. Drones are like lawnmowers that are upside down. Their blades are dangerous. So we need to make sure what you're doing is safe. Should I wait until the new regulations to start? I get this every day. Why wait? I don't see the positives of waiting. If you're wanting to start a business with a drone, now is the time to do it. The PFCO costs roughly the same as what a GVC will cost. And for that, you're going to have to train less. The new practical is going to be a lot more invigorating and a tougher to go through. The same for the theory. So you're still going to be going through the theory test, operations manual, and practical. So everything transfers over straight away, really nice and easily. Like I say, everything is about safety anyway. So what happens is you transfer over into what's called an operational authorization. And that is just a fancy way of saying GVC. So in terms of the new regulations, you have the A2CFC, which is open category. You have the GVC, which is the specific category. And then you have the specialized category, which we don't need to worry about in what we're doing. So the GVC is more for high risk and heavier drones. But generally, if you do the PFCO, it means you're going to be trained to a higher standard. And people know what PFCO is. It's been tried and tested. Companies and generally the industry know what PFCO is. The new rules are really, really confusing. And I think it's turned our head of training, Dan, great in the process, because it is confusing. But now we've got to grips with it. It is all about safety, weight category, and risk. So train now. We also have a module on our online training course, module 13, I think it is. And this goes into a lot more detail in terms of the new regulations. But generally, if you train now, you're not going to have to pay anything extra. You're not going to have to do any extra training. Copters, we sort out all the paperwork. So there's nothing to worry about. There is literally nothing to worry about. Train now, and it'll transfer straight over. All these people that have a PFCO in the past, they're not going to have to retrain. So just do it now. Is it because of Brexit? I get this a lot. No, it's not. So we are mirroring what EASA law is, so European law. We're still going to be working under the CAA, but no, it's not to do with Brexit, and it won't affect it either. Will I have to sit the course again? No, you don't. It will transfer straight over. And how much does it cost? So in terms of new regulations, you're going to have the A2CFC course, then you're going to have the GVC. GVC, you're looking around £600 ex VAT. A2CFC, you're looking around £300 or £400. It really does depend on more guidelines that the CAA are yet to give out. So again, in terms of the PFCO, which is which is $599 excluding VAT or copters, that's very, very similar to GVC. It'll all transfer over, guys. So just don't worry about it. For anyone else who wants more, drop me a message, jamie.cording@copters.com. We can go to a lot more detail of that. Okay, so what is next? We're close to the Q&A, but just get in touch with Copters. Copy and paste to my email. For anyone who wants more details, more in-depth conversation, that's fine. If you want a meeting, a Zoom meeting, a Teams meeting, let me know. We can do it. That's absolutely fine. So Sean McMullen. So we've got a course in Belfast in Ireland. That would be your closest, but generally, yeah, it is mainland UK. So starting at the top, we've got Aberdeen, Edinburgh, come down to Leeds. Then you've got Cheshire, Rugby, Cardiff, Brighton, Hook, Kent, and Norwich as well. So we've got 11 locations. So yeah, perfect. I'm glad that's good for you, Sean. And yeah, I think it is the Hilton. In Kent, it's in Maidstone, in Detling. So yeah, if you are in London, we've got loads of options for you there as well. But yeah, if you guys want to go into more detail of any of this, give me a shout. Rugby, it is... I can't remember rugby off the top of my head. But yeah, just going back to Dunchurch, perfect. Thank you, Ronan, absolute star. Business starter packages. So for the first people that do book on to either a business starter package or for a PFCO, you'll get a mentor session with Steve Coulson. So Steve Coulson is our CEO. He started Copters. He started Martech Marines as well. So he's built up two huge £1 million turnover companies. He knows what he's talking about. He spent thousands of pounds on himself in terms of training and mentorship. So he can give a hell of a lot of value back to you guys. We did this once before with a Black Friday offer, and people got amazing value from it. So for the first people that do book on to either a business starter package or a PFCO, you can have a mentor session with Steve Coulson. So I'll be checking the times of when people book on, but get yourself on that. Okay, so it's time for the Q&A. So guys, get your questions in. Like I say, if I don't have time to get through them all, I'll give you a call personally or I'll email you and we'll go through it all. And again, apologies for running over in terms of time, guys. Not a clue what happened. Okay, so Malcolm, how many batteries in? So with the Ultimate Business Starter Package, to be fair, with all three of the business starter packages, you get 3 batteries. So you're looking at over an hour's worth of flying. Okay, so let's have a look at these questions, guys. Okay, so I've got 38 to go. Okay, and for anyone who hasn't, if you can jump on the polls, that would be absolutely fantastic as well. Okay, so let's go for this. Okay, so Jonathan, your first question. Okay, so you're really highly qualified, which is fantastic. Generally, doing the PFCO, it will be a ticking box exercise, and some of the different distances are different. So I do always push anyone with a PPL or any general competency in the area just to go through the course. We do have a mock test, so I recommend you go through that. Just so you know what everyone else has had to go through. Generally, our off-call courses are going to be the one for you. Anyone who's anyone and has got a PPL or are a commercial pilot, I recommend you do the off-call level 5. That's going to be more your tier of understanding. So going into human factors in a lot more depth and the operational safety cases, basically the what ifs of the industry, you go into a lot more detail. So I really recommend that off-call level 5 for you. For more information on that, our website, or I've got a really good ebook I can send over for you. But yeah, I definitely recommend the off-call level 5 with it being internationally recognized. We're soon to be setting up an off-call school in Australia as well. So there's all sorts going on with off-call. They're a really big examining body. Okay. Okay, so second question, in terms of, the grandfather rights, it gets thrown around. That's absolutely right. For anyone who's got the PFCO, it'll transfer over. There's a 5-year timeline with the new regulations. So just make sure you update your ops manual as you do normally. Just keep updating it. That's absolutely fine. I hope that answers your question. Yeah, Tom, I think I've answered that. PFCO, do it now. I just can't figure out why you would want to do it later. If you're not wanting to be commercial, then you don't need a PFCO. If you're wanting to start a business and earn money from your drone, which we all know and love, do the PFCO now. Okay, Robbie, yes, the off-call level 5. You're looking at about 48 hours for that course. It is tough, but it's meant to be. Okay, recommended drone for thermal inspections by Claire. Really depends on what your budget is and what you're looking at. If it's internal, the Helios 2, you can't go wrong. If you've got the money for it, then you want to be looking at something like the M300 with HT20T. So this is a brand new drone and payload, absolutely phenomenal. Some of the things it can do. For more information on that, get in touch with one of our BDMs, probably George, our inspection guru. But if not, the business starter package that I mentioned earlier, the ultimate is the Mavic 2 Enterprise Dual. So yeah, that would be my option. If not, the Parrot and Affy Thermal has a zoom lens as well, which is a really big changer. So by having the zoom, neither of the Mavics have that. So have a look at that. But I think we'd probably do with a conversation, depending on how much money you have to spend, and what sort of industry you're looking at. Sahil, really good question. I'm not going to answer that. Yes, for anyone who has registered that for the webinar, you will get a copy of it as well. And hopefully not the 10 minutes that we recorded before. Mavic 2 Zoom, yeah, it does have zoom capability. I just mean of the Mavic 2 Pro or the Mavic 2 Enterprise Dual, of these two options of our business starter packages, that's all. Okay, so Usman, 3D data, Pix4D, really simple. You can get, I think it's a 15-day free trial as well at the moment. So definitely jump on the Pix4D website. They have free trials all the time. If you change your password and email a few times, you can get a little bit longer. But jump on our Pix4D course, ask a few questions on there. Really, really good. Okay. Sean in the chat. Yeah, the Anafi is fantastic. The SAS use them, the Army use them. In terms of data, there's a lot of conspiracies about DJI. Having a Parrot, you're not going to worry about any of those problems. The SAS actually throw these like a cricket ball, and they can self-right themselves. Amazing, absolutely awesome drone. Okay. Okay, Malcolm, really good question about multispectral analysis. Again, if you can train in an area and become a specialist, by all means do it. But a lot of the time, you're going to be working with people who know the land better than you. By training in an area, it's going to give you such an advantage. And again, it's all about becoming a master in your area. If you can do that, do it. But again, this industry, you don't have to have that prior experience. So don't worry if not. Okay, so Nathan, that's a really good question. How long does it take to fly commercially? And this really does vary against each person, especially with the course being online. Generally, it's how long is a piece of string? It's one of those questions, but I would give yourself 2 to 3 weeks to do the course online, and that's including your theory test and practical test, and then the application to the CAA on paper takes 28 working days. So with copters, you're looking at about 2 weeks for the application. We always get it passed, so you're all good. So generally, I would give yourself a month, maybe a month and a half. Whilst this is going through, though, take this opportunity to get your Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, website, get them all up and running, get them absolutely flying. So there is a lot of time in there, but there is also a lot of work. I hope that answers your question, Nathan. Okay, Stephen. Is there a niche that would be good for aspiring drone operator with programming capability? Do you know, we find that people that do have really good IT skills are better at the post-programming and post-processing as well. So use that to your advantage. If I was to say a niche on this, 100 people would jump for it. So I think that would be a better conversation for ourselves. But like I said with the window salesman, little ideas will come. And even by doing the PFCO, the cogs will start turning and you'll have all these different ideas. You'll make a few calls and make a few inquiries. And that's what it's all about. Drones do the hard work, guys. They do the flying. So don't worry about that. Get your training in, go to the park, get your hours in. This is all about building a business. And that's where Copters come in. We can mentor you down that route. So we can find a niche for you, but don't worry if it doesn't hit you in the face straight away. We'll find it. And it's all about molding your business. Okay. Amit, in terms of the Brexit question, not that we're aware of. We'll be mirroring the EASA European law, so you should be absolutely fine. Okay, I hope I'm getting through everyone's questions okay. Like I said, if I don't get through them all, because there's quite a few, I will give you a call, guys. Let's have a look. Okay, how long does a PFCO course last? Face-to-face, 2.5 to 3 days. With online, it's completely down to you. It really is whatever works best for you guys. Charlie Denny, Ofqual level 5. It's the highest level course you can do at the moment. With it being level 5, it's hard. All of our trainers have to do the level 5 course before they can start teaching our PFCO, and that's the standard that we've set. So it speaks for itself. And for testimonials as well, go to our YouTube page. We've got some really nice testimonials about the course too. Okay, so Jason, really good question about security industry. Yeah, best to speak to Sam Denif. So he specializes with army, military, security companies, surveillance companies. So yeah, I would get in touch with Sam, one of my colleagues, and he'll be able to help you with that. But yeah, huge interest. But again, very early doors. Yeah, Robert, great question here. So in terms of the application to the CAA, that's £253. Okay, so that goes straight to them. You train with us, we sign you off, and then you apply to the CAA. Mike, you're not assured to pass, but it's very, 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 very likely. We haven't had a fail in a long time, Mike. And Copters, we do hire some drones as well, Robert, just so you know, aware. Generally the larger. Sahil, we're not running the A2 CFC course. There's no need at the moment. It's not until next year, so we will be, but there's no need at the moment. Ooh, okay, Robert, again. Robert, you've got loads of questions in here. How saturated is the market for operators? Amazing question. Everyone asked me this as well. With any industry that you go into, there's going to be saturation at the bottom. By getting good training and getting good hardware, you're going to leapfrog these people. If you realize that the drone that you're going to be using in the industry, you can buy from Argos or Curry's PC World, it's likely that a lot of people are going to have it. So these drones are fantastic, and don't get me wrong, these are entry-level drones. So the idea is you get an entry-level drone, if that's your budget, you go out into the industry, you get that return in investment and then you push it back into an intermediate drone. So you come back to us, we'll help you with an intermediate drone. The next step up, you go out into the industry. You come a lot more experience. You've got a bigger following, a bigger connection. When you get the next return on investment, you come to us, you get an expert drone. And every time you get a bigger drone, your data capture is going to be so much better every single time. So in terms of saturated market, it's always saturated at the bottom of every single market you go into. So in some areas, yes, but we want you to jump over these. If you train with us, you'll be fine. And we'll show you how to leapfrog these people anyway. Nick, can you use LCAS for your business start packages? No, which is a real shame. But Nick, if you email me, I can let you know what we can do. And for anyone else who does have LCAS credits, you've worked really, really hard for those. Take my hats off. Take my hat off for what you do, and we can offer you something. So drop me an email, and I can walk you through that for you. We've just gone over the hour mark, so I'll do a bit more, guys. I've got time to kill today, so no, not a problem at all. Sahil, you're absolutely welcome. Rob, loads of questions there from you, Rob. So what I think is you need a mentor conversation with Steve and some of our team. So Rob, get yourself in contact with me and we'll get you sorted, fella. Mohammed, can I learn how to fly a drone online? Yeah, you can get little games on your phone, which are really good practice. They're really hard to do. There's all sorts that you can do online, but it's never going to be like the real thing. It's like playing FIFA and then trying to play football outside. Get yourself outside and do it. Yes, Steve, we will do. We'll go straight into that, so don't worry. Okay, so Matthew, I feel like let's have a look at the comments as well. Okay, yes, so Matt Lewis, I feel like I've answered this question quite a few times already in terms of saturation, getting started. Let's just do it today. Let's just get started. There's no reason we can't get you started now, today. Just get it done. I've said it quite a few times in this webinar so far. I can't see a good reason why to wait. If you're looking to start a business, now's the time. Sean, Autel Evo, heard good things. I've not flown it personally myself. Not too sure at the moment, but I am excited to get my hands on it. But at the moment, I'm still keen on the Parrots and the Mavics or the DJI range. Gordon, crop analysis, you need to speak to James Pick or George Byrne. These guys will be able to help you out loads. We've actually been doing a lot of work on this at the moment as well. Laurent, nice to see you. Get in contact with us. We can sort something out for you in terms of a package for you. So don't worry. We'll soon sort you. Just drop me a message, Laurent. Cheers, fella. Drone safe register. It's all about safety, guys. It really, really is. So I think it's all good. And with the A2 CFC and this the check that you have to do for £9, all of this will help get rid of the cowboys at the bottom of the industry and get rid of that saturation. The drone safe register, if you're looking to find work, why not give it a try? So yeah, I think it's a good idea. Not everyone has to go for it, but yeah, I think it is a good idea. Sean, I think I've answered that one. I think I'm getting there, guys. Yes, Robert again, Robert again. Yes, you can fly in public places. Just stay away from people, stay away from buildings. I do dog walking hours, so go get up early, go do it. Go late and go do it. Unless you know there's a nice field where you can go do, and maybe get if you got a farmer's field, maybe drop him a crate of beer. And it's all just about asking nicely in this industry. Laurent, yeah, we can sort that out. That's not a problem in terms of the new regs module. That's fine. Robert, about the new regulations and the PFCO. If you've got a PFCO before the new GVC, update them every year. And then the GVC, you won't have to update every year. And that'll be 5 yearly with that lifetime. Joe, the age limit is 18. Okay, so that's how to apply to the CAA, you have to be 18. You can train when you're younger, but generally you would have to wait till your 18th birthday. So maybe a birthday present. That's if you're 18 or 17. Stephen Cameron, 599 for the PFCO course. If you're Fairload, it's 599. I'm not sure if the code's on there at the moment, but get in touch if you are Fairload as well. Camille, really good question about EASA law. So generally in different areas of Europe, there are different laws. So depending on whereabouts you go, you need to notify the people, as you do anyway. You might just have to do a little written test. Generally, it's not that hard. It's just to make sure that you're aware of what laws they do in that area. For example, some areas of France do have different laws. Silkstone photography. Good question. I think there's a group of people on the webinar who will be really, really interested. So yeah, get your LinkedIn on here. Let people know. Ryan Thompson, as a complete beginner, is the ultimate business starter package for me. So these business starter packages are what it says on the tin. They are to start a business. They are super easy to fly. They are exactly what you need from a complete beginner. Ryan, I'll drop me an email, jamie.cording@copters.com. Get on that and drop me a message. And it might not be the right drone for you. Might be able to save you money, might be a different drone, or that might be the absolute right one. Silkstone photography, see that message in the group, guys. Help them out. Nigel, about Dunchurch. If you let them know that you're going to be flying there, you should be absolutely fine. Obviously, it's hotel grounds, so they might not be open at the moment, but just get in touch with them. Give them a call. A lot of the time, it is just giving them a call and get sorted. What else we got? Right, guys, I'm going to try and get this wrapped up in the next 10 minutes. I hope this is all still good. And again, thank you for everyone. Obviously, there was technical difficulties earlier, so I do really apologize for that. Yeah, okay, so age limit. Yep, Joe, I've got that. Carl. Okay, so Carl, you've got a zoom lens. Massive point. So in terms of safety, you don't have to get as close. Inspection, great one. You don't have to get as close as you want to the item. With the Mavic 2 Pro, you do have to get closer. You can zoom in with post-processing. The Mavic 2 Zoom is really, really easy to fly as well. So yeah, of course. And let people know what hardware you've got, guys. So that gives them the option. Having a backup drone is always good as well. So if you do look at a second drone, maybe go with the Mavic 2 Pro. Maybe go with the thermal option as well. Okay, so Julian asking about inspection. Yeah, so you don't need any, on paper, you don't need any qualifications. as I say, you don't need experience in this industry, but the more you do have, the better it is. For example, I'm sure Jeff won't mind me saying this. If let's say I've got someone who wants a job who's been to Cambridge University, but I also have a job, someone's wanting a job from Hull University. I know the person from Cambridge is more likely to get it. So if you train with Copters, you're going to be at a higher standard. If you have more training and you go out of your way to get those training, it's only going to help. Yeah, just get it all under your belt, guys. I really do push you to get more and more training. Steve always talks about listening to podcasts and self-development, reading books. Do it. Just do it. It really will help when you're out on a run, when you're traveling to work, or when you're traveling downstairs to work, or whatever it is. Get yourself a podcast on. Just listen, read. Self-development. That's what it's all about. Luke Hollingworth. Look, there's loads of options, but it's known across the industry that drones are easy to fly. Everyone is nervous to fly before they get their drone, especially because they are expensive. I do understand that. But as soon as you put it up in the air and you start playing with it, you'll think, God, I wish I didn't buy that practice drone to then get this proper drone. Just go for the top one. Don't worry about it. Honestly, Luke, don't worry. Just go for it. They're so easy to fly. But if not, maybe like a Mavic Mini, Parrot and Affy, Mavic 2, all good. Austin, the level 5, like I say, it's 48 hours worth of training. Normally when it's face-to-face, it's a 4-day course. Cool. Okay. Malcolm, sorry to hear about that, fella. That's rubbish news. But I would say just get in contact with us. If you train with us as well, fantastic. We'll definitely help you out, fella. But I'd say, yeah, get in touch with info@, and we'll go through that. Luke, you're absolutely welcome. I feel like I'm getting closer. People keep on adding questions on, but we're nearly there. Keith, same again. The more training you can get, the better. It's only going to help. But on paper, not always what you know is who you know. So connect with people, build your network. Yeah, setting up a website is absolutely fine. Really easy. So Wix, WordPress. I recommend WordPress. It's super easy and it's free as well. Yep, they do. Drones have sensors to protect them from collisions. Yep, absolutely. Copters do hire drones. I'm going to fly through these now. Yeah, so Charlie, if you do want to try or see a demonstration from our drones, we do demo days normally every 6 months, if not a year. So come on down, have a look, see what they're like before you empty your wallets. I do see your point. Again, come to the office, come to Leeds. We've got it all. We can show you that. Camellia, yeah, absolutely. I'd say so. Again, drop me a message, jamie.cording@copters.com. We'll have a really good chat about that. But working in the media industry is a really good way to start. It's one of the main areas. It's the third biggest. Okay, so Amit, you've got a Mavic Air 2. Awesome, that's really cool. So in terms of advice, get yourself out there and get flying. It really is the best option. It just starts to click and starts working. Okay, I've nearly got to the bottom, guys. So once I get to the bottom, that's it. We're done. Joe, is there an upper age limit? I'm actually 61. No, there's absolutely not. That's funny. So you're not 18 then. But yeah, there's absolutely no age limit. You're only as young as, you're only as old as what you think you are. So it's completely down to you, fella. Oliver Dixon, what situation from taking off from a public footpath? That's a really interesting one. I had this conversation with a bloke the other day, actually. And apparently it's caused a bit of a debate. So feel free to drop me an email on that and we'll go into a lot more detail. So jamie.cording@copters.com. Joe, the business start packages. So the only thing that the business start packages don't cover are the application to the CAA, your drone insurance, and your liability insurance. That's all. So, and depending on what drone it is, your insurance is looking at tops £300 a year, but we've got cheaper solutions for you. Liability, it ranges depending on what it is you want to do, what sort of risk, but again, not a lot of money, sub £100 normally. And the application to the CAA is £253. So yeah, Joe, I think, Joe, you've got a lot of questions. Drop me an email. Andrew Young, the Mavic Dual, it will do a very good job of building inspections. It's classed as an inspection drone now, even though it's made for search and rescue. But I recommend the Parrot Anafi Thermal because it's got 3 times zoom, 21 megapixels, which is more than Mavic on paper. And it's also got exactly the same thermal sensor. So if you're looking at that, possibly the Parrot Anafi Thermal. Okay, so Laurent, the PS2 will transfer over into the GVC. Okay, so just after an hour and 15, thank you ever so much, guys, for staying to the end. Absolutely amazing. I hope I've answered all of your questions. It's been great. Really, really sorry that it's gone over a little bit longer than what we thought. If you want to watch this back, we will be sending it out again. We might stitch the 2 different webinars together. But yeah, massive thank you for everyone who stayed and logging back in. I hope that's answered a lot of your questions. There was a lot in the end. If you do have any more questions, let me know. You can see my email is there. So drop me an email if you've got any more questions, guys. But yeah, and like I say, the first 10 people who order, you'll get a one-to-one with Steve. That might be face-to-face. That'll probably be over the phone with what's going on at the moment. All 3 business start packages. We can chop them down. We can build them up. It's completely down to you. So get in touch and I can help you out further. But a really massive thank you to you all, guys. And see you soon.